Matthew Lillard just did an interview where he talked about Scream 7 and he revealed some interesting information. So let's get into it.
Certain rules. Push the laws and you end up dead.
This is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life.
Not in my movie.
Surprise, Sydney.
He's gone mad.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
A very simple formula.
You want to play psycho killer?
Everybody's a suspect.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
I'll be right back.
Okay, I think it's gonna go something like this.
I'm Pamela, welcome back to the channel. So this article is from comingsoon.net. I will link it down below if you want to check out the full interview because he does also talk about his whiskey brand. And there is video footage on this website of the interview. So if you want to check it out, the link will be down below. But we're just going to talk about what he had to say about Scream 7. So the interviewer said, "This is a really exciting time for your career as well. What's really cool about your Scream return is you basically spoke that into existence. You kept saying, I would love to come back. So what was your reaction when you actually got that call that it was actually happening after all these years?" And Matthew Lillard said, "I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty excited about it. I had a lot of questions for Kevin when he called. I'm excited, really ecstatic to be back. I hope fans are happy. I hope people are excited to see me. And I just hope I don't screw it up. I think people are gonna love it. And then I think the script's great. I think the cast is fantastic, so I'm really hopeful that it's a home run." Now, I will just point out that he says, "I hope I don't screw it up." And this is something that he's said before pretty recently that we did talk about on the channel, where he is like deathly afraid of messing it up. And you guys know, I think Stu is alive. A lot of fans out there don't think he is. Some people think it's just going to be a flashback or a hallucination or the whole AI theory. There is no doubt in my mind that Stu Macher is alive, and I think the fact that Matthew Lillard is so afraid of screwing it up, I think that says a lot, because obviously the fandom is so divided on wanting him to be alive and thinking that it will make the franchise so much better, and the people who don't want him to be alive think that it will ruin it. Now, if he was just a flashback, I really don't think he would be that afraid of screwing it up because it's just a flashback. But if he comes back alive and it's not done well, then yeah, you could screw it up. And then the interviewer goes on to say, "It seems like it's being done the right way. You can't do better than Kevin Williamson at the helm. He wrote the first 2 movies and Scream 4, and now he's directing. So you knew you had to be in good hands. How was it getting to collaborate with him again?" And Matthew Lillard said, "Oh, great. It's like old friends, right? And Nev's on set, and working with Nev and seeing her is great. I think that we're all really hopeful that, look, I think the journey continuing, I think fans are going to be excited. It's got that vibe of like old school Scream. And so I just think we're all really hopeful that we're building what fans will love and appreciate." A few things to talk about in this little statement here. So first of all, he confirms that he got to work with Nev. And I think that that could be a major clue that he is actually alive and has a scene with Sydney in the final act after the reveal. There's a rumor going around that a lot of people are believing that Stu is just going to be AI. Like Sydney's going to get a FaceTime call from Stu, but it's just going to be an AI version of him. And if that was the case, I don't really think that he would be working with Nev per se. If all that he was filming was a FaceTime video call, he probably wouldn't actually be filming with her. Just like with phone calls in movies and TV shows, they're not actually talking to each other on the phone. It's like whoever we see on the phone is really just reading off their lines. They're not actually having a conversation. Now, of course, if Stu is just a flashback, I suppose there could be a flashback with Sydney as well, and that's how he would be working with Nev, but I don't know. I feel like if there's a Stu flashback, it's going to be with Billy or perhaps Roman. This is something that we've talked about on the channel as well. I feel like doing a flashback with Sydney, there's not really a purpose with that. If we get a Stu flashback, I do feel like we need to see some new information, something that we didn't know before. And I just can't see a flashback with Stu and Sydney being that important to the story. I mean, what would that flashback look like? just them hanging out at school. Like, we don't really need to see that. He also said that Scream 7 has that vibe of old school Scream. And in old school Scream, Stu was the killer. So I just think of a modern day scene with Sidney and Stu coming face to face once again, where he's the killer and she is his potential victim. That's gonna have that old school Scream vibe. And the fact that he also says, I think the journey continuing, fans are gonna be excited. That to me says that Stu's journey is continuing. We're gonna catch up with him and see what he's been up to and what he's up to today. If it was just a flashback or hallucination or whatever, technically his journey wouldn't be continuing. So I think this statement from him right here is pretty interesting. Now, the final part of this little Scream 7 interview was also very interesting. So the interviewer says, I spoke with David Arquette last week, and he mentioned that he was a bit disappointed that the casting news got out, as it was meant to be a surprise. Was it the same with you? And Matthew Lillard says, oh yeah, I was definitely not supposed to be announced until the trailer, but I think that we were all pretty conscious of the fact that once you start saying Scream 7's shooting, the people are going to start paying attention to the general area. So sneaking me in and sneaking me out would have been very difficult. So eventually we broke the news ourselves before it got a chance to leak. So it is what it is. It's modern technology, and I don't think that anyone was unduly surprised. I'll put it that way. So this confirms what we have been saying here on the channel for months since Matthew Lillard was first announced. They knew that there was a high chance of his return getting leaked, and that would have absolutely sucked. So they chose to get ahead of it themselves. I mean, he says sneaking me in and out would have been very difficult, and that's what we've been saying here. But it's very interesting. He says I was not supposed to be announced until the trailer. So they still would have revealed him before the movie actually came out. They still would have used him as a marketing tool. Can you just imagine if we went all this time until the trailer came out and they announced Stu's return in the trailer? Oh my god, we all would have been absolutely shook. We would have lost our minds if that was how they announced it. But yeah, it sucks that in this day and age, you really can't hide anything. Same thing with Dewey Riley's return. I wish that would have remained a surprise. But especially with Stu Macher, like, you guys know, I've always believed that he was going to be in Scream 7, but I really wanted to sit down in that movie theater seat and have my mind blown when I see him show up in the movie. And, you know, after they announced Matthew Lillard, Scott Foley, and then they announced David Arquette, we were all like, all right, why are they ruining every surprise? Let's keep some things a secret, but it's so hard to do that these days. My concern was that photos of Matthew Lillard on set would have leaked. But you know, that hasn't happened. We have not seen any photos of him on set. So I wonder if like they could have kept it a surprise. I guess there would have been like verbal rumors floating around out there, but unless there's photo evidence, you don't really know what to believe. So I feel like they could have kept it a surprise, but obviously it's better that they announce it themselves. But that is it for today. Very interesting interview. We got some good information. He worked with Neve Campbell. His return was supposed to be a surprise, but definitely let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. Like I said, if you want to check out the full interview and the video footage, the link will be down below in the description. Please give this video a like if you are excited for Scream 7. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and make sure you turn on all notifications so that you don't miss out on any Scream 7 updates. Any sort of updates that we get will be posted here to the channel. You can also expect some theories, predictions coming up. Please also go follow me over on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, and I will be right back.